Hi all, welcome to today's Vinyasa flow. We're going to move the whole body open and sort of just get the blood flowing all throughout. So we're going to start in Sukhasana, easy seated pose, with our hands over our knees, and try to feel your shoulders over your sits bones. So maybe closing your eyes and feeling your torso in space. As you begin to settle your mind and body in the space and time. What first caught my attention to yoga when I first started practicing was one of the key components of what makes Vinyasa yoga. And it is the alignment of breath to movement. It almost felt like a dance when I began to truly align movement to breath. Felt rhythmical, and that's why some people call it Vinyasa flow. It's fluid movement through the breath. So today, just bringing your awareness to your breath. We're going to start by taking 3 deep inhales through the nose and exhaling them out through the mouth. Feeling the breath, and almost as if you wanted to hear that very soft sound of each inhale and exhale. And after that third exhale, continue now this time bringing both inhales and exhales through the nose. In that same way, paying attention to that soft sound the inhales and exhales make. And bringing your hands softly in front of your heart, Anjali Mudra. Pressing the thumbs against the breastbone to find a little more length and opening through the collarbones. Crown of the head reaches up. And keeping your eyes closed, we're going to take a second or so to create an intention for today's class. This intention will be our anchor throughout the class. So whenever we feel maybe just a little all over the place or our mind goes somewhere else, using this intention to ground ourselves back to our purpose and back to our intention. So take it a second or so. And when you're ready, bow down towards your heart. And blinking your eyes open, arms next to the torso. You're going to lengthen the right leg out towards the side, coming into Janu Shirshasana legs. Taking the left hand over towards the left hip, reaching the right arm towards the left, lengthening the right side of the body. Maybe looking up if it doesn't feel too much on the neck. Lengthening the right arm and coming back through center. Reaching the right arm towards the right leg, maybe reaching for the toes or wherever you can reach, and lengthening the left arm towards the right foot. Making sure you're opening the chest up towards the ceiling. Again, maybe looking up. Lower ribs are trying to rotate open. And come back through center, pressing the left hand behind you. You're going to reach your right arm overhead and behind, pushing the hips forward, lifting the heart, broadening the collarbones, opening the whole frontal body. And coming back through center, shifting the torso to face towards the right leg and fold over the right leg. Now try to reach the heart towards the foot so you're not rounding the upper back. The heart leads you down, broadening the collarbones. And come all the way back up. Other side. Bending the right leg, lengthening the left leg, bringing the foot inside of the left thigh, making sure that both sits bones are pressing down. Right hand next to the right hip, and lengthen the left arm towards the right. Making sure the left sits bones remain on the mat so it's not lifting. And back through center, reaching the left hand towards the left leg, right arm next to your ear. Trying to lengthen the right arm and lower ribs as if they wanted to look up towards the ceiling. And coming back through center, placing the right hand behind the right hip, pressing the hips forward, reaching the left arm back, opening the whole frontal body. Heart lifts and pressing through the sits bones back onto the ground, shifting the torso towards the left leg and fold over the left leg. Again, heart reaches forward, finding that length through the crown of the head. And coming all the way back up. Placing both feet onto the mat. Separating them a little wider than hip width. Arms long towards the front of the mat. And one vertebrae at a time or in a lower. Feeling the belly button scooping in and up. Rounding the low back to lower, feeling the core engage to lower in a controlled way. And come all the way down onto the mat. Bringing both feet into bridge setup, feet hip width apart, heels under the knees, and lengthen the right leg up towards the ceiling. Pushing through the heel, maybe grabbing behind the thigh or wherever you can reach. And hold here, opening the right back of the leg. The toes are facing towards you. And now bending the right leg, coming into a half happy baby. So the knee comes outside of the right side of the torso, grabbing either the edge of the foot or behind the knee, whatever feels right. And feel free to stay here, or if it feels right, try to lengthen the left leg forward, feeling the opening in the front of the left hip as well. And hold here. Come back to that breath that we first set. And now you can start playing in a dynamic way to lengthen the right leg if it feels right. If not, just stay with the bent leg. But you can try to lengthen and bend. And if you're doing this, on the next one, try to hold the straightened leg. Pressing the left hip down. And place the left foot back down, taking the right ankle over the left thigh, creating a figure four with your legs. Bringing the left thigh in, interlacing your hands behind the left thigh as you hug the thigh in and push the knee out to open that right outer hip. And if it feels nice, you can sway from side to side to massage the low back. Opening your arms in a T, leaving the legs as they are. You're just going to let them drop over towards the left as you look over towards the right, making sure both shoulders are on the mat, on the ground. Just a brief twist to begin to warm up the spine. And come back through center. Other side, placing both feet onto the mat, this time lengthening the left leg up, pushing through the heel, all toes facing down. If you reach the big toe, you can go for the big toe. If it's too much right now, you can just grab behind the leg and make sure you're pushing through the heel, lengthening that back of the left leg. And bending the left leg, coming into your half happy baby, either grabbing the edge of the foot or behind the knee. And pulling the foot towards the side of the torso. If you lengthened the bottom leg on the other side, do so on this side, lengthening the right leg forward. Releasing, try not to tense the shoulders to grab any deeper. Shoulders are relaxed, neck and head are relaxed on the mat. And you can begin to play with lengthening the left leg and bending just a couple times as you begin to open the back of the left leg. And on the next one, if you're lengthening, hold here, feeling the opening of the back of the left leg. And bending the right leg, taking the left ankle over the right thigh, creating a figure four with your legs, hugging the right thigh in as you push the left knee out to open. Releasing the left outer hip. Beginning to release gently those places in the body where we might carry tension. And releasing the leg, keeping the legs as they are, opening your arms in a T, letting the legs drop towards the right as you look over towards the left. Making sure both shoulders are placed on the mat. And coming back through center, hugging both knees in, and either coming to your side and pushing yourself up or rocking back and forth all the way into a tabletop position. Placing your hands in front of you, taking your legs back, so hands come under the shoulders and knees hip width apart. Coming through a couple of rounds of cat-cows, so here we begin to align the breath with movement. With each inhale, we open the chest, looking up, tilting the pelvis. And on the exhale, pushing your hands away from the mat, rounding the upper back, tucking the chin and the tailbone in. Continue at your own pace between both of these poses. You might want to close your eyes to really feel the breath guiding the movement. And coming through a neutral spine, we're going to do a couple circles around your knees with your hips. So feel free to make this your own movement and just sort of play around to see where you feel tightness in the hips or the spine. And you might want to stay longer in a certain place. Just wiggle around here. Take this time to get curious and see how you're feeling today in today's class. And going in the other direction if you haven't changed yet. And we'll all meet in a neutral tabletop position. Finding a neutral spine. Belly button is pulling in and up, supporting a neutral back. And you're going to lengthen the right leg towards the back of the mat. Bringing the left arm next to the ear, palm of the hand is facing in. making sure the hips aren't weighing in, so the spine remains neutral, and lift the right leg up, pushing through the heel, belly button in. And on the exhale, take the elbow towards the knee, rounding the back, pulling the belly button in. Exhale, lengthen. 5 more just like that. Follow your own breath. Making sure you're not collapsing in the right shoulder. The hand pushes away from the mat, strong upper back. Last one, and we're gonna lengthen here and hold. Pushing through the heel, lower the left hand down. You're gonna lengthen the right leg out to the side, placing the foot down on the mat or on the ground. So I'm gonna change position so you guys can see. So the foot is in the same line as the knee, and lift the torso up. We're gonna walk the right hand along the right leg, left arm next to the ear, maybe looking up. And coming back through center, you're gonna place the hand aligned with the knee. So the hand, knee, and foot are all in the same line. Pelvis pushes forward, and lengthen the right arm up towards the ceiling. Lifting the right leg up, and bending the knee. You're gonna look for the foot behind you. As you press the foot against the hand, opening the front of the body, the shoulder, collarbones, opening. And with control, letting go of the foot, lengthening the leg, lengthening the arm, placing the foot back down, coming back through center and tabletop position. Getting ready for the other side. Lengthening the left foot back. Making sure the hips are squared, lift the right arm forward. Lifting the left leg up, belly button in and up, don't feel the low back crunching. And on the exhale, bringing the elbow in towards the knee as you crunch in, rounding the back. And lengthen. 5 more. Following your breath, feeling the space each inhale creates in the body. One more, and we're gonna lengthen out, holding here, pressing through the back heel, lower the right hand down, and lengthen the left leg out to the side, aligning the foot with the knee. Gate pose, lifting the torso up, walking the left hand along the left leg, reaching the right arm towards the left, making sure you're opening the heart up. And coming back through center, planting the right hand down, aligning hand, knee, and foot, lengthening the left arm up towards the ceiling. Lifting the left foot, belly button in and up, broadening the collarbones, bend the knee, reaching for the foot behind you. Pressing the foot against the hand. The tailbone lengthens down, so we're not crunching the low back, broadening the collarbones. With control, let go of the foot, reaching the left arm up, lower the foot, coming back through tabletop position. Placing your toes onto the mat, hips shifting up towards the ceiling, first down dog of the class. Taking a couple seconds to wiggle and fidget as you please. Before we all meet in a neutral down dog. Feet hip width apart, arms, hands shoulder width apart. Hands push against the mat, finding length through the sits bones. And separating your feet a little wider than hip width, you're going to walk your hands back, shifting the weight onto the feet. Grabbing opposite elbow, letting the crown of the head hang heavy. The shoulders relax, sides of the neck relax. Coming into rag doll. Maybe swaying the torso from side to side. Coming back to that first intention you set. And coming back through center, releasing the elbows. Inhale in through the spine, lengthening through the crown of the head. Exhale, forward fold, and come all the way up to standing with a strong, long back, reaching the hands up towards the ceiling and in front of the heart. Samastiti. We're going to walk towards the front of the mat, starting with a couple Surya Namaskars to warm up the body. Inhale, arms up. On the exhale, hinge forward, reaching the heart down, bending the knees as much as you need. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head. Exhale, forward fold. On the inhale, come all the way up, back to standing. Strong, long back, and hands in front of the heart. We're going to do that one more time. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hinge forward. Swan dive down. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head. Exhale, forward fold, bending the knees as much as you need. Inhale, coming all the way back up to standing, and hands in front of the heart. We'll continue from here. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head, and on the exhale, step the left foot back. Keeping the right knee over the right ankle, placing the back knee down the back of the foot, and lifting the torso up, low lunge. Making sure that the hips are shifting forward, but not so much that you're splurging the hips out to the side. The tailbone is lengthening down, arms reach up. Finding length through the crown of the head, and plant the hands back down onto the mat, lengthening the right leg, half splits. Left hip is over the knee, right hip crease is pulling back, and heart is leading you forward. And bending the right leg, walking the hands forward. You're going to wiggle the right foot outside of the right hand. Coming into lizard pose. Feel free to stay here if this is enough. Now, if you want to try lowering onto your forearms, feel free to do so. Let the knee open as it feels like doing, as it feels right, but always make sure that the knee is in the same direction as the middle toe. So maybe the foot is lifting. From here, you can either stay where you are, or you can try to reach for the back foot. Opening the chest towards the side, reaching for the back foot with the right hand. If you're on your hands, you can also do this. Pulling the heel in towards the glute, finding that real deep quad opener. Maybe looking behind you. And letting go of the foot, placing both hands back where they were. If you were on your forearms, come back onto your hands. Placing the whole foot on the mat, back toes lifting the back knee. You're going to reach your right arm over in front and behind, opening the heart. Keeping the hips steady and neutral, just lifting the heart up towards the ceiling. And back through center, walking both hands towards the left corner of the mat. Keeping the grounding steady. Reaching the right arm a little further, opening that right side of the torso. And come back through center. Wiggling the foot between both hands, stepping back through your vinyasa. Plank, either knees on the mat or not, chaturanga. Upward facing dog or cobra, downward facing dog. Feel free to modify as seems right. Lifting the left foot up towards the ceiling. Opening the hip, bending the knee. Reaching the heel towards the left glute.
making sure both sides of the torso are facing down. Feel free to flip the dog or stay here. If you flip the dog, make sure your shoulders come over your wrists, broadening the collarbones, lifting the hips up. And back through center. Bringing the left knee into the nose, placing the foot between your hands, lowering the back knee, the back of the foot, lifting the torso up. A brief low lunge, inhale. And as you exhale, lower the hands back down, placing the back toes onto the mat, lifting the back knee. Now you're going to step the right foot forward. You're going to step it behind the left foot. So your legs come into sort of like a, they're crossed. So the right leg is crossed behind. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head. Bend the knees as much as you need. Exhale, forward fold. And come all the way up with a strong long back, keeping the legs crossed. Reaching grabbing the right wrist with the left hand as you open the side of the body. Bringing the right wrist towards the left. Inhale. And as you exhale, release, uncrossing the legs, releasing the arms next to the torso. Other side. Inhale, arms up. As you exhale, hinge forward. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head. On the exhale, step the right foot back this time. Placing the back knee down, the back of the foot, low lunge. Shifting the hips forward. Belly button in and up. Arms long next to the ears. And lower the hands back down, lengthening the left leg. Half splits. Pushing through the heel, toes are looking up. Heart reaches forward. And bending the left leg once again. Wiggling the left foot outside of the left hand for lizard. As you might stay here or maybe come onto your forearms. Maybe lifting the foot, opening the hip. Staying here for a couple breaths. And if you did go for the foot behind you on the other side, you would do so on this side as well. Opening the heart towards the side. Reaching for the left foot with a left hand. Sorry, the right foot with a left hand. And releasing if you were grabbing the foot. If you were on your forearms, coming back onto your hands, planting the left foot down, placing the back toes, lifting the back knee. Reaching the left arm forward and behind you, opening the heart up towards the ceiling. Broadening the collarbones. And coming back through center, planting both hands inside of the left foot, walking both hands towards the right corner of the mat. Really lengthening through both sides of the torso. Crown of the head reaches forward. And walk both hands back in, wiggling the foot between both hands, stepping back through your vinyasa. We'll meet in downward facing dog. From down dog, lift the right leg up this time. Opening the hip, bending the knee. Reaching the right heel towards the right glute, releasing that right frontal hip. Feel free to stay here, or if you're flipping the dogs, shifting the shoulders over the wrists, letting the foot fall behind you as you open the heart, lifting the hips up. And coming back through center, planting the right hand back down, right knee into the nose, placing the foot between your hands. Lowering the back knee, the back of the foot, low lunge. Lowering the hands back down, placing the back toes onto the mat, lifting the back knee, stepping the left foot behind the right, crossing the legs. Feel free to bend the knees as much as you need. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head. Exhale, forward fold, coming all the way back up through standing, keeping the legs crossed. Grabbing the left wrist with the right hand, pulling the left wrist over towards the right, opening the left side of the body. And come back through center, release the hands, uncross the legs. Now we'll get through some traditional Surya Namaskar A's and B's. So feel free to do it at your own pace or follow me. We're gonna do 3 Surya Namaskar A's. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hinge forward, reaching for the floor with both hands. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head. As you exhale, plant the hands next to the feet, step or float back through plank or chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. 3 full rounds of breath here, bending the knees slightly to really find length through the spine, and from there you can begin to find a little more length through the legs without losing that long back. And on the exhale, bend the knees, look forward, step or float towards the front of the mat. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head. Exhale, forward fold, and come all the way up to standing. Hands in front of the heart. 2 more. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head. So you exhale, plant the hands and step or float back through your vinyasa. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. 3 rounds of breath. Returning to that inhale and exhale we first set, where we listened to that gentle sound each breath made. And on the exhale, bend the knees, look forward, step or float towards the front of the mat. Forward fold. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head. Exhale, forward fold, and come all the way up to standing. Hands in front of the heart. Last one. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head, and on the exhale, plant the hands, step or float back through your chaturanga or plank. Upward facing dog, knees are lifting, downward facing dog. If you're hopping forward, try to feel the belly button lifting you, making it as the hop as light as possible. So on the exhale, bend the knees, look forward, step or float towards the front of the mat. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head. Exhale, forward fold, and come all the way up to standing. Hands in front of the heart. 1 Surya Namaskar B to build a little more heat. Inhale, Utkatasana chair pose. Arms next to the ear, palms of the hands facing each other. And wherever you are, try to lower a little deeper. As you lift the torso off of the thighs and hold here for 3 more rounds of breath. Utkatasana, fierce pose. And on the next exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head. Exhale, plant the hands, step or float back through chaturanga. And we'll meet in downward facing dog. Bringing the right knee into the nose, placing the foot between your hands. Lowering the back heel, warrior 1. The back foot is in a 30-degree angle forward. Belly button in and up, and the left hip is trying to look forward. Inhale, and on the exhale, lower the hands. Step the right foot back, plank pose. Chaturanga. Feel free to place your knees on the mat or just skip the vinyasas. Downward facing dog. Bringing the left knee into the nose, placing the foot between your hands. Warrior 1, placing the back heel down, lifting the torso up. Back edge of the foot is pressing down. Inhale, and lower the hands back down. Step the left foot back, plank pose. Chaturanga, upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. 3 rounds of breath. And on the exhale, bend the knees, look forward, step or float towards the front of the mat. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, forward fold, Utkatasana chair pose, lowering the hips, lifting the torso up. Inhale, and lengthen the legs, bringing the hands in front of the heart. Samastiti. Lowering the arms next to the torso. Lengthen through the crown of the head. On the exhale, step back into plank, either directly into down dog or go through your vinyasa. Meeting all in downward facing dog. From down dog, bring the right knee into the nose, placing the foot between your hands. Maybe coming onto your tiptoes, finding length through the crown of the head, squared hips. You're going to keep the left hand down, reaching the right arm up, coming into a twisted low lunge, runner's lunge. Holding here, pushing the hand against the mat, strong upper back. And now slowly you're going to lift, keeping the twist, lift the torso up. Walking the right hand along the back leg, reaching the left arm back. And coming through center, crescent lunge. Reaching both arms up, bending both knees, finding squared hips. And lowering the back heel, warrior one. Interlacing your hands behind you, rolling the shoulders back, lifting the heart. And coming into humble warrior as you let the torso hang inside of the right leg, arms coming overhead. If you're tighter on your shoulders, this might not go too far, and that's fine. Stay where you are. Lowering both hands onto the mat, keeping the torso low, lifting the back heel. Once again, coming into this twisted lunge as you lift the right arm up. You're going to come onto the edge of the back foot into a modified side plank. So we're going to do it on the other side so you guys can see. Coming onto the edge of the back foot. The front foot is going to start looking out to the side. And you're going to reach the top arm forward. On the exhale, lower the hips down. Reaching the hand towards the back foot. Inhale, lift. Pressing against the mat to lift. Exhale, lower. 2 more. Inhale, lift. Last one, lower. And as you press up, reaching the arm towards the front of the mat and lower the hand down, stepping back through plank pose. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Other side. Bringing the left foot into the nose with control, placing the foot between your hands. If it doesn't reach, you can assist it with the left hand. Keeping the right hand down, crown of the head reaching forward, lifting the left arm up, twisting the torso towards the left side of the mat. Left hip crease pulls back. Keeping the twist, lifting the torso up, bending both knees to find more stability. Reaching the arms along the mat, walking the left hand along the back leg, reaching the right arm back. And coming back through crescent lunge, reaching the left arm up, both knees slightly bent, belly button in and up. And placing the back heel down, warrior one. Interlacing the hands behind you, opening the chest, reaching the shoulders back, lifting the heart. Coming into humble warrior as you drop the torso down inside of the left leg, letting the hands hang overhead. Sides of the neck are relaxed. And gently releasing the hands, placing both hands back onto the mat, lifting the back heel. Keeping the right hand down, lifting the left arm up, coming back into your twisted lunge. Coming onto the edge of the back foot, bringing the left foot in front of your hips, facing all towards the left side. Inhale, and on the exhale, lower the hips down, reaching the left hand back. Inhale, lift, reaching the arm forward. 2 more. At your own pace, following your breath. And on the next one, bringing the hands forward, reaching the hips up, and plant the left hand down, stepping back into plank, lowering through your vinyasa. From downward facing dog, you're going to bend your knees, looking forward, and you're going to hop, this time your feet outside of your hands, letting the hips drop down, coming into Malasana Yogi Squat, like a little frog. If you can't plant both heels down because you feel like you're going to fall back, you can always use a towel to support the heels or just come onto your tiptoes, staying on your tiptoes. Wherever you are, bringing your hands in front of your heart, pushing the knees to open the hips and lengthen through the spine. Maybe closing your eyes just for a second. Coming back to your anchor, to the reason that you're dedicating all your energy of this class today. And blinking your eyes open if they were closed. Optional, stay here, or option to come into crow pose if it's in your practice. Placing your hands shoulder width apart, bringing your big toes together as you bend your elbows back into chaturanga arms. So the elbows bend back, placing the knees as high up in your arms as you can, almost in your armpits as you shift the heart forward. Lifting the hips, rounding the upper back, and maybe you lift one toe, maybe the other. And we'll all meet back in Malasana. Taking a second to play around with that. Coming back into Malasana, reaching the right arm forward, out in a diagonal, reaching the left arm up towards the ceiling, opening the heart, twisting open towards the ceiling. And come back through center, other side. Coming back through center, placing your hands onto the mat, you're going to shift your hips up, lengthening the legs, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, forward fold, and come all the way up to standing. Hands in front of the heart. Opening the stance into a wide angle standing pose. Bring your hands into your hips. Reaching the heart forward. We're going to fold over, reaching the hands towards the mat. Maybe walking the hands back so you guide your torso to fold closer into the legs. And walking your hands back forward. Keeping your right hand under your face, under your head, reaching the left arm up, making sure the right hip crease pulls back so your hips don't unsquare. And lower the left hand down, reaching the right arm up. And reaching both hands back onto the mat, long, strong back, reaching the torso up. Bending the right leg, coming into Skandasana. As you bend the right leg, shifting the hips towards the right, lift the left foot to face up. Right arm inside of the right leg, left arm up. Again, if your heel doesn't reach down, just stay on your tiptoes. And now placing both hands back down onto the mat, we're going to walk both hands towards the back of the mat, coming into a runner's lunge. Hands square the left foot and lift both arms up towards the ceiling. Bending both legs and straighten both legs, bringing both feet back to face the side of the mat. Bringing both heels in, goddess pose, bending both knees. Placing the hands onto the thighs as you push the left leg out, twisting over the right shoulder. And other side. Moving in a dynamic way between both sides. And back through center, lengthening both legs. We're going to come into Skandasana on the left side. Bending the left leg, right foot looking up. Again, if the heel doesn't come onto the mat, you can come onto your tiptoes or place a towel under. As you reach the left hand down, right arm comes up. Inhale. And lower both hands back onto the mat. As you walk both hands to square the right foot into runner's lunge. Long spine and lift the torso up, crescent lunge, bending both knees. And lengthen both legs, bringing the left foot to meet the right, coming into standing in the front of the mat. Now we're going to move through a couple balancing poses. I'm going to shift the weight towards the right foot as you bring the knee into the chest. Feel free to stay here. Make sure that from here, your shoulders are over your hips. You're not tilting the torso back. Belly button in and up and grounding through the feet. Now, you can let go of the knee and try lengthening the left leg forward. Keeping the left leg lifted, rotate the thigh to open so the foot is facing out to the left side. And now bringing the foot in, coming into Vrksasana, tree pose. Bringing the foot inside of the right thigh. You can assist it with your left hand. As the foot presses against the thigh against the foot, and lifting the arms up. Belly button in, both hip bones are facing forward. From here, I'm going to give two options of a transition. We're all going to come into Warrior Two. And you can just step back into Warrior Two and wait for us there. Or you can come into Half Moon and from there into Warrior Two. So I'm going to show the second transition. Gently lengthening the left leg back as I lower the right hand down around 6 inches outside of the right pinky. Opening the hips. The whole torso is facing the left side of the mat. And now from here, gently bending the right leg as you lift the torso, coming into Warrior Two. Back foot is perpendicular to the front foot. Arms are long, maybe looking forward. And walk the left hand along the left leg, reaching the right arm up. And windmill your hands down to square the right foot. Lifting the back heel. Step the back foot to meet the right. Forward fold. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, forward fold, and come all the way up to standing. Hands in front of the heart. Other side. Shifting the weight towards the left foot. Bringing the right knee into the chest. Hugging it in with both hands. But as you hug it in, it's not about bringing the knee closer into the chest. It's more about finding the length through the crown of the head. So if you're hugging in, but you're here, try to lower the leg and bring the torso over the hips. Now we're all going to meet in Vrksasana tree pose. If you want to keep it here and just go directly into tree pose, feel free. If not, you're going to lengthen the right leg forward, pushing through the heel. Keep the leg up, lifted, and open the leg out to the right side. Gently bringing the foot inside of the left thigh, coming into Vrksasana tree pose. Making sure both hip bones are facing forward. And from there, the right leg can open a little more. Arms lift. And we'll meet in Warrior Two, depending on your transition, taking your own version. So if you're taking Half Moon, Ardha Chandrasana, gently lengthening the right leg back as you lower the left hand down towards the mat. Making sure the torso is facing the right side of the mat. Opening through the arms, reaching the right arm up. And gently transitioning into Warrior Two as you lift the torso up, placing the back foot down. Warrior Two. Strong, long arms. Walking the right hand along the right leg, reaching the left arm back. Inhale. And windmill the hands down, runner's lunge as you lift the back heel. Stepping the right foot to meet the left, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head. Exhale, forward fold. Coming all the way up to standing and hands in front of the heart. We'll meet in down dog. Feel free to take it through your vinyasa or step back directly into down dog. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head. On the exhale, step or float through your vinyasa. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Now, we're going to come into dolphin pose. For those who are new to it, you might want to come into it from your knees. If you've done it before, feel free to stay here in downward facing dog and challenge yourself to lower onto your forearms from down dog. If you've never done it, from here, from placing your knees onto the mat, you're going to lower onto your forearms. Keeping your toes pressing against the mat, you're going to shift the hips up as you press the heart back. And maybe if you press your heart back and you feel like you still have a little more room, you can walk your feet a little closer towards you. Same thing as down dog. The sits bones reach up. Finding length through the spine. And now either coming into your knees or pressing directly from here will all meet in downward facing dog. From down dog, bringing the right shin towards the front of the mat, coming into pigeon pose, opening the right hip, lengthening the left leg back, making sure both hip bones are facing forward. And surrender, lowering the torso down. Maybe creating a little pillow with your hands to fully surrender in pigeon pose, releasing your hips down. And placing your hands back onto the mat, pushing yourself back into downward facing dog. Bringing the left shin towards the front of the mat, pigeon pose on the left side, lengthening the right leg back. Opening the left hip, making sure both hip bones are facing forward. That might mean that you're a little lifted, and that's fine. And fold forward. Last downward facing dog as you press yourself up, stepping the left foot back. Downward facing dog. Coming onto your knees into a kneeling position. Placing the toes onto the mat for the first round. We're going to come into camel pose. For those who are new to this pose, it might feel a little deep, so take it step by step. For the first round of camel, you're going to press your toes onto the mat. Placing your hands on your low back. Feel free to stay in any of these steps where it feels right for you. Make this your own practice. Pressing the hips forward as you lengthen through the low back. Shoulders roll back and start looking up towards the ceiling. Maybe you'll stay here. This is already a deep heart opener. Or maybe you'll begin to walk your hands along the legs, looking for the heels. Shoulders roll back, looking up. Hips press forward, lifting the heart. And hold here for 3, 2, and 1. Come back up the same way you came back down. Gently lifting. And now, if that felt right for you, you can try placing both feet down so the backs of the feet are down. If the other version felt right, you can keep your toes pressed. And we're going to go down the same way, placing the hands in the low back, pressing the hips forward, walking the hands along the legs, reaching for the heels. Feel free to stay wherever it feels right. Pressing the hips forward, shoulders rolling back. And lift gently, coming up the same way you came down. Coming into child's pose, reaching the sits bones towards the heels. Arms forward, pressing the forehead against the mat. And lifting all the way back up, swinging your legs forward towards the front of the mat, placing your feet wider than hip width apart, letting the knees fall towards the right side. So you're creating around like 2 right angles with both legs. And in the same direction the knees are facing, you're going to twist back, facing the back of the mat, and maybe stay here on your hands or maybe lower onto your forearms. As you twist through the spine, feeling the opening and the release of the twist. Twists neutralize all the back bending and forward folding. And gently coming back up, letting the knees fall over towards the other side. Looking over behind you in the same direction the knees are facing. And maybe lowering onto your forearms if it feels right. And gently lifting, coming back through center. Moving with grace and gently. Coming onto your backs. As you bring your knees into your chest, giving yourself a deep, big hug. Hugging the knees in, maybe massaging the low back. And lengthening your legs out towards the front of the mat. Arms next to the torso. Palms of the hands facing up. As you surrender completely into Shavasana. And before you completely let go and surrender, bring towards your awareness the intention you first set. And stay present with it just for a moment. And release that as well. Completely surrendering into Shavasana. Letting yourself stay here as much as you can to really take in all the work we put in through this hour of energy. So I will leave you here for you to take as long of a Shavasana as you need. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. Namaste.